is up, YouTube? This is the Working Investor. In this video, we're going to talk about how high yield dividend investments have ruined payday for me. Because it used to be that when you get a paycheck every 2 weeks or every week, whatever, however you get paid, or every month, it's exciting. You get a paycheck. But with high yield dividend ETFs, I'm noticing that my income is going up every single month. Even if I do not contribute another dime into my investments, they're going to go up month over month over month. And I'm used to seeing my paycheck go up every single month, getting a raise every single month. But with the paychecks, you get sometimes, the average company in America gives around a 3% raise a year to quote unquote keep up with inflation. And basically the entire year, your paycheck is static. But I don't know about you guys, but things in America cost more than 3%. I know that, the COLA, cost of living, they're saying it's about 2.53%, but it's not true. Like if you look into healthcare in general, this is just averages roughly. It's up 7%, more than 2%, more than twofold, the amount of inflation. You look up groceries, and I'm sure it'll vary from place to place. 22% spike in groceries, right? You look up car insurance rates. I just got shocked. My car insurance rate, they wanted to quote me a 30% spike, even though there were no incidents at all. Nothing changed, just for the heck of it. So the average car insurance, up 26%. Ridiculous. That's many times more than 3%. That's a bunch of lies about that. You look at the, the housing, somewhere between 3.6 and 5.8, let's just say 4.5% housing, whether it's renting going up or, mortgage or cost to buy houses going up, or the cost of insurance and taxes, the cost of utilities going up, but somewhere between, somewhere around 4.5%, if you want to go somewhere in the middle. New cars and used cars since 2020, past 4 years, new cars are up, 29%, let's say, and used cars are up 34%. I heard the price of used cars went up in the past few years by $10,000 for the average price. $10,000. Listen, 29%, 3% inflation, times 4 years is 12%, not 29%. So way more than what they're claiming to be. You know what I mean? So that is ridiculous. There's a saying that a job stands for, you got to get a JOB. JOB stands for just above broke, because people think that they're going to get rich from their paycheck. If you think you're going to get rich from your paycheck, you're going to find yourself really, 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 really shocked. Because let's say, let's say that inflation, is, let's say, 10%, on average of everything you consume, or all your essentials, right? 10%. But if your paycheck goes up by 3%, there's a 7% gap that you need to fill that you're not getting compensated for. Your buying power is diminished by 7%, let's say, for argument's sake, right? And that's just 1 year. But if you compound that year over year over year, you're going to find yourself way, way behind if this type of inflation continues, where you're going to be the working homeless, the working poor. It's insane, of course. And I also wanted to mention something called personal inflation. And this is actually the most accurate litmus of inflation. Who cares what government agencies state that, what they want to claim is the rate of inflation? Just look at your average, every single bill you have, right? And look how much it changed from last year, the same month, to this year, the same. Look at your grocery bill this month and go back 1 year and see how much it was about a year ago, the same month. Considering there's no special events that you're shopping for. Look at your cost of car insurance from this year to last year. Look at your cost of rent or mortgage from this year to last year. And then, look at all your utilities from this year to last year. And then you can give yourself an accurate personal inflation. How much did it affect you? And what is your personal inflation rate? That would be the most accurate and the most meaningful way to know how it's affecting you specifically in your specific circumstance. And I'm pretty sure, I was a betting person, that it's more than 3%. Okay, so again, these job wage increase by average increase 3%, it ain't gonna cut it. You're pretty much getting a lower salary every single year. So how do I combat this? With the high yield dividend ETFs. Let's just say you have a 36% yielder, right? And hopefully it's on total return, let's say hopefully it still keeps up pretty well. So 36% yield, that means you're getting 3%. You're getting the what the government claims is the rate of inflation, not in a year. You're getting that in a month. So you're over, you're gonna beat inflation that way. If you're getting a 50% yielder, you're getting 4.16% a month. If you're getting a 60% yielder, you're getting 5% yield a month. Of course, we're talking about funds that are hopefully total return net positive, and you're gonna ROI pretty well. Now I want to talk about your superpower of how fast you can compound your growth. So let's say you want to calculate how fast you want to go up $1,000. And let's say your average, your yield of the fund you have is a 50% yield. So we said 50% divided by 12 months is a 4.16% yield. So if you do 0.0416, that's your superpower. And let's say you have $10,000, right, in this fund, right? So $10,000. So that means every single month, your increase will go up by $416. So for every $10,000, you're going to increase your income by $416. So that means if you take $1,000 and you divide it by 416, it will take you about 2.4 months to increase your income by $1,000 a month. You know how powerful that is? Like, for example, sometimes people have a new unexpected recurring bill, right? That could, really, really choke out your, how much you can save, your savings rate. But if you're able to earn additional, $400 a month, and it's going up and up, you have a chance to combat this inflation. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, and of course, any of funds that I ever talk about, they're always subject to risk, and you could go through the prospectus, and I'm sure every prospectus talks about that you could potentially lose everything. So you need to speak to a financial advisor and make an investment that makes sense for you and your personal circumstance with your risk tolerance. And of course, you have to set aside, most likely, a lot of people say that an easy way to think about it, and of course you have to change it and modulate it for your personal circumstance, is a third. So if you get, like, say $3,000 a month, let's say $1,000, a third of it you put away for taxes, and then a third of it, you want to reinvest, and then maybe a third of it is deemed usable. That's a good way. I'm not a financial advisor, but a lot of investors that I speak to, and I actually start thinking this way too. My personal opinion, again, just as a retail investor, not an expert. I like the rule of the thirds. A third for taxes, a third for reinvestments to keep things growing, because things need to keep growing to combat inflation, because inflation is getting more expensive. So you have to combat that. Your paycheck needs to get bigger every single month. So that's why, at least a third to go back in, and then maybe a third to spend or do whatever you want with. That's just a rule of thumb. Of course, circumstances could change. If the underlying stock drops down, sometimes people like to take advantage and buy more on the dip. So it all depends on circumstances. Very, very nuanced. Anyways, this is just some food for thought. Let me know what you guys think about inflation. This is The Working Investor, over and out. I hope you guys have a wonderful trading week.